Alright guys, this is my first tutorial. I'm gonna go ahead and try to be the best, most explained I can be to show y'all what the techniques I use in order to perform a low fade. So I'm gonna do a low drop fade on my client. We're gonna go ahead and start by brushing out the hair and start doing your first guideline. What I use it's a 00 with the detailers, wall detailers. So when you start doing your low fade, make sure your lines are low as possible when doing a low drop fade. Make sure you try to leave that little so you can do the curve when edging up. Make sure you leave enough to where you can do the fade and edge up so you can look extra crispy when you're lining up. So as you can see, I'm going ahead and knocking out all the extra hair that I left off. Make sure you took off all the next hair. Sometimes we leave it to the end to knock all those down. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the wall 5-star shaver. Make sure you be careful when shaving underneath it, your first guideline, because you can nick them on the ear with the foil on the shaver. It's just on some of the shavers the foil comes out a little bit, but not on all of them. Go ahead and brush out the hairs. Me personally, as a barber, I feel like I need to do guidelines on every fade. That's just me. We're gonna go ahead and start with the babyliss open. You're gonna grab about ½ inch on the second guideline, excuse me. Don't go up so high with the ½ inch. If you go a little bit too high, your face is gonna be like overstretched and it's not gonna look like a low fade. Make sure if you have to go over it again, go ahead and go over it. There's no problem with that. Just be patient with yourself. I'm going to add the number 1 guard on the same machine, babyliss, open. You're going to grab about 1 inch or ½ inch, depends however your machine is set up to mark your guidelines so you can see them. Me, I'll go about 1 inch or ½ inch, depends on how low I'm doing. And now we're gonna go ahead and apply the number 2 guard, open. And you're gonna grab about 1 inch, a little bit over 1 inch. It all depends how you're gonna fade him. If you're gonna stretch it or not stretch it, it's totally up to you. But always have your guidelines accurate. Make sure they're not always the same, but make sure you do them correctly. I'm doing a half guard right there, open. And I work myself down. I close it half and then I close it all the way. If you gotta play with the lever, go ahead and play with the lever. There's no problem with that. Now, as y'all can see, I'm done with the half guard. Now I'm gonna apply the 1 1/2 and erase that middle guideline. Open 1 1/2, and you work it the same way. You work yourself down. You close it half, and then you close it all the way. If you gotta play with, like I said, if you gotta play with the lever, there's no problem. Go ahead and do it until you feel like you have that guideline like flushed out. Sometimes they won't erase it, so like me, I go back to the 1 and open with the number 1 guard and go over it again and do the same thing. Close it half and then close it all the way until that guideline is gone. Sometimes the machines won't, when you're playing with different machines, sometimes the machines won't play with it, they won't blend in sometimes, so it's all good. Sometimes you gotta keep playing with the guards, but that's just the process. It just makes it easier in order to fade. So as you can see, I go back all the way back to the half guard, and I open it, and then I go half, and then I close it, and I keep doing the same thing all the way down. Don't hesitate to flick that to flick your wrist when fading, because you don't want to go like flushed in, and because your fade is gonna look so stretched out that you're not gonna be able to notice what kind of fade you're doing on the climb. So now I'm gonna go ahead and go with another 00. It's pretty much like a 3 out, 4 out on this one. So it's like I have a 0 gap. It's supposed to be a 00, but I have it really gapped up that I can erase the bottom line that I did with the shaver. So that's just something that I have personally. And maybe you can blend it in a different way with another guard or whatever. But now I'm gonna go ahead and grab my wall sterling and open all the way and fade that bottom line same way. Go half guard, go start open, go half, and then close it, and just play with the lever until you blend that last skyline. If you haven't followed me on IG and you're barely watching this as a beginner of a barber, go ahead and follow me. Give me a follow on Instagram. It's at Steve_O_Kutz with a K and a Z at the end. I just made a Twitter account as well. Go ahead and follow me there. It's at Steve O Kutz. Make sure you subscribe. Comment. Let me know what you think about this haircut process. If you have any questions, comment below, and I'll go ahead and get to you as soon as possible. So as y'all can see, I'm still cleaning up the area. I'm still playing with the lever. Make sure I erase. Sometimes you'll create another guideline, you gotta erase it. So it's just back and forward. But it's just a process. I want to go with the number 8. He wanted a number 8 on top, so I'm gonna go ahead and like brush out the hair, pass it with a number 8. So as you can see, I go back in. I just try to take as much as hair I can. Sometimes you got the hair real stiff, so you have to kind of play with it. You don't want to go straight into it and then pull the hair or anything like that. So as y'all can see, I still got a little bit of bulk right there. When you see bulk like that, when you're a beginner, you'll be like, damn, I think I just messed up. But no, it's okay. Just go ahead and, if you know how to use shears, use your thinning shears. If you know how to use clipper over comb, go ahead and do clipper over comb. It takes practice. So what I'm doing right there, I'm knocking out the bulk with the thinning shears. This is a technique that a barber from Newcastle showed me. And as some of y'all don't know, I'm from Houston, Texas. So we do everything Texas way, as they say. So as you can see, I did the thinning shears, and on top of that, I'm adding the clipper over comb. And right now, I'm just retouching with a number 2 guard, just fading. And now I do the 1.5, same thing. Do a little retouch here and there. If you see little bulk lines or any little dark lines, sometimes your client might have, like, the shape of his head might have a little dent in it, and it will create a dark spot. Don't hesitate to dig into it. Sometimes that's just natural. It doesn't mean that you fade it wrong. So as you can see, I'm fading that little side where the hook is going to be at. You don't want to leave it so dark to where it just doesn't look right. Make sure you fade correctly. Be patient. Don't knock all the way down, because if you knock that hook all the way down, you're not gonna have a sharp line. So now I'm gonna use my the Gold FX trimmer and go ahead and start doing that hook on the client. I have these machines so accurate that it's real sharp. So I try to go as slow as possible, because if I press too hard, I don't know the client's skin. Yeah, it could be so sensitive. You don't want to dig in too much. I don't know what y'all are using. If you can comment below if you have any questions about the machines, or how I fix them, or how I zero gap them, or whatever. Just go ahead and comment below. Any questions, I'll give to you as soon as I can. So right here, I'm done already with this edge up. Right now I'm just doing half of his haircut, so you can see the before and after. So I'm gonna go ahead and edge them up already. I used the Darko. It's the blue premium pack. I think that's what they are. I think they're a little bit better than the Darko, the red box. But it's just my preference. I always make sure that corner on top of his ear, make sure you always clean that area, because sometimes some barbers be leaving the little extra hairs there, and they tend not to forget. So here's the other side of my client's head. Is the before and after, pretty much. And this is the aftermath of the full cut. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and subscribe to my channel. I should have more videos coming in soon. Let's get it.